The Irrational Confidence Podcast. Texas A&M Aggies, their only loss on the year is week 1 to Notre Dame. Shocking. I thought A&M was not going to be this team here. LSU, they're 6-1 as well. Their only loss of the year was week 1 to a subpar USC team. Fresh, it's a 2.5-point Texas A&M favorite right now. Over under set 53.5. 2.5 points to me, that's home field advantage. So that's telling me that these teams are dead even right now. Fresh, what you got for this one?
Well, first off, we've seen Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, Alabama. We've heard all the stories and watched them all. But quietly, A&M and LSU are both undefeated in the SEC. And if the season ended right now, they'd be playing for the SEC title. They're doing their own thing. They're winning football games. Maybe not 100% sexy, but they are getting it done. And they're just taking care of the schedule. We got the opener LSU USC. We expected LSU to come out and just dominate USC, and that was far from the case. Since then, they kind of have grown up and gone through their own struggles. They should have lost to South Carolina. They showed a lot of fortitude to withstand that road pressure, come back and find a way to win the ball game. And they just stacked and matured since then. The win over Ole Miss was very impressive, and then responding by dominating Arkansas the week after, without looking ahead of this game, showed a different maturity level from the entire team, which you might not have seen in the past. So that intrigues me from LSU's perspective. You're seeing other guys outside of Harold Perkins, because he's injured, stepping up and making plays on defense. Weston Weeks at linebacker, the guy's a machine, running around and making tackles for loss and passes defense all over the place. Kind of a glue guy for an entire, starting 11 for the Tigers. And he's got them focused and energized. And it's not just one guy. I think that's also, we talk about an offense where if you only have one guy, everyone focuses on him and try to force the ball to him. Well, on defense, I think everybody kind of looked at Harold Perkins like, well, we expect you to come save us. Now, when he's gone, it's everybody else is around the program and trying to be involved. And you're not having to key on one guy, you're keying on multiple players. This is a big deal. And it's just a growth of a program, a growth of a team. Coach Baker, we mentioned the Missouri situation, showing up here and getting it done it's a new sign of life for LSU. The other side, A&M, when Jimbo was fired, the exodus of players that left through the portal, we thought it's going to take a while for them to get back to being this. It's probably going to take a year or two for Elko to get his guys in, for them to mature, for them to be solid, and then from there they'll go. First year one of Mike Elko, who, first of all, he's a fantastic and amazing football coach. There's nothing, that was already a true statement when he's at Duke. But the way he's gotten this entire team to batten down the hatches, go through a quarterback situation with Wegman being hurt and putting in Marcel Reese, dominating the Florida Gators, coming in, getting wins. These are two interesting programs that have shown growth as the season's gone on. We've had questions about the roster. We've had questions about the depth, but they've taken advantage of their opportunities. A&M last week at Starkville, going to Mississippi State. The previous 2 weeks, Mississippi State had played Texas and Georgia and actually kind of played them relatively within reason. A&M didn't come out there and dominate like I thought they did. They were 20.5 point favorites at close, and they didn't cover. The defense didn't look fully locked in and focused. The offense wasn't scoring enough, and Mississippi State kind of hung around. And it has me worried about this week. You're at home, it's great, but LSU's offense is a lot better than Mississippi State's, and LSU's defense is better. Where was the mindset of that A&M football team? Have they just kind of peaked and they kind of got tired and playing on adrenaline, or was it just it is what they are, and they're just going to get every game's going to be different for them because they dominated Missouri. They beat the trash out of them 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and then they kind of had a lull moment. So where's this Aggie offense coming from? Where's the Aggie defense coming from? Le'Veon Moss at running back is a tremendous player. I think he is the main focus for that offense. Run the football, be behind your offensive line, and let Wegman make some plays in the passing game. They're going to have to score some points, though, because LSU is going to put points on the board. So how does this team manage stride for stride and touchdown for touchdown with the Tigers? Caden Durham for LSU, I mean, they were looking for a running back all year long. That freshman stepped in and showed speed, showed balance, showed some ferocity. Ferocious running back. I like what he brings to that Tiger offense. You're seeing it's not just Kyron Lacey at receiver. It's not just C.J. Daniels. Armstrong's been a nice little solid slot receiver. Had a bunch of clutch receptions for him so far this year. That offense has grown. Mason Taylor at tight end, and of course that amazing offensive line highlighted by Will Campbell. The talent was there for the Tigers, but we always had that one point where it's that but for LSU, very similar to Penn State, where they have so much talent, but you never know what you're going to get sometimes. You're just like, all right, are they just gonna choke one away and have that loss that we inexplicable. Um, Nussmeyer's a veteran quarterback. I like what he's been able to do this year, growing up. This was going to be a low scoring affair. I don't see this being a track meet. I think at the very end, it's going to be like a 20-17, 20-13, 17-13 game where defense is going to rule the day because the offense maybe are going to be too scared to make a mistake and they don't want to cost the game. When it comes down to that, I think LSU has a better quarterback in Nussmeier. I think he guides them to this victory and has some key third down throws late in the ballgame. The Tigers survive Aggie land in a 20-13, 17-13 kind of ballgame. LSU will remain undefeated in the SEC and keep their sights, like you pointed out in our preseason, preview, toward an SEC title game and potential playoff spot by escaping Aggie land to W.
Fresh. This game is just such a unique combination of what makes college football great. First and foremost, in a great environment in Kyle Field. A&M is not a team that is built to beat the brakes off of LSU. A&M runs the football very, very well. Mike Elko plays this great ball control type of offense. He's got a lot of faith in Connor Wegman. The fact that you could have very easily made the switch to Reed and you didn't. You stuck behind the guy, and I think that goes a long way about the character of a coach. LSU's defense is a middle of the road in the SEC for a run defense as well. The area where they really are lacking, surprisingly, is that they are a bottom tier pass defense. They are in the lower third of the SEC in their pass defense there. You take a look at A&M though. A&M is only behind Tennessee in the conference in their rushing attack. So is A&M going to be able, is Mike Elko being able to step out of what they've done all year long to, pick themselves off the mat after that week 1 loss and keep themselves undefeated in the conference? Are they able to do what they've done, or are they going to adjust to say, like, this is where we see a weakness in LSU's defense? That's really the question. I don't know what A&M's going to do. I really don't. I think if they try to stay and run the football as much as they have been doing, I do feel like that plays a little bit into LSU's hand. And again, if LSU is able to kind of do that quick hurry up offense and put some points up on them pretty quickly, you brought Durham there and Gus Niedermeyer / Nussmeier, because I can't not call that kid Garrett Niedermeyer for some reason from Animal House. If LSU's offense goes really fast on them, I think that A&M is going to be out of their comfort zone. I really, really do. You take a look at what Nussmeier's been able to do. He is tied right now for the 7th best quarterbacking in all of college football. He's got 18 touchdown passes on the year. He's only thrown 2 interceptions as well. Doesn't turn the ball, or 6 interceptions, only taking 2 sacks. I'm sorry. Doesn't turn the ball over a ton. He makes the throws he needs to make. He's completing about 65% of his passes there. He keeps the offense chugging along. He's not as electric as Daniels was last year, but he doesn't need to be. You talk about Durham really picking it up. It's exactly what this LSU team needs. This game becomes which team is able to do what they want in the game. Like, when does this game take the identity of either A&M and their ball control running the football, or LSU, like, we're going to speed up the tempo a little bit? What kind of game do we see? Because if we see a tempo type of game where you're getting short, quick drives by LSU, I think this game could have the potential to get ugly on them. because I think a little bit higher of LSU's offense than I do, but I also know Mike Elko is a hell of a defensive coach too. I think he's a hell of a defensive coach. People will give him a lot of credit for what he does on the offensive side of the football, but I think he's a great defensive coach as well. Is he able to kind of negate what Brian Kelly has built there in LSU? I think this game stays close. Fourth quarter, though, LSU wins. LSU wins by for me, I'm looking at like a 24-17, 24-21 type of game.
It's going to be another fun battle. I mean, these two teams have always given us chaos. They were the ones that had that 7, overtime game way, 3 years ago. Expect crazies to happen. These two fan bases hate each other. Absolute hate each other. A&M, if they win this ball game, they're smooth sailing all the way to taking on Texas the next given weekend, and that could be for eliminating Texas potentially from a playoff spot and putting them in the SEC title game. So this is a big moment for A&M and for Mike Elko and the AE program.